Hello, friends. You know what this is? Look at that T-shirt on the wall.
What does it say?
That's been there, won that. This is a NFC South champion.
Clinch that maybe in this situation.
NFC South champion playoff edition of the Happy Half Hour, brought to us by our friends at Deep Eddy, which I imagine a lot of y'all are going to be into on Saturday afternoon coming into this game. It's going to be a good time, and I think everybody's looking forward to this thing for a lot of reasons, and we'll get into all that here in the next 20 or so minutes of the Happy Half Hour. We're a little fast and loose with time sometimes here.
Yeah, time is just a social construct.
That's right. What is real is your Carolina Panthers are in the NFL playoffs, and they got a wildcard game right here in Bank of America Stadium Saturday, 4:30. Be here or be square.
There you
and
go.
Be there or be square. Sure, let's go with that. It's going to be cool. I think there's a lot of awesome things to look forward to about this game. From the football stuff, and we can talk about the football in a minute, but as we talked about on Monday, this is just going to be an event. I keep going back to the fact that this is a thing that has not happened in the city of Charlotte in 10 years, and the city of Charlotte's ready to turn out. I mean, you've seen it over the course of the last couple of days. Our Sound the Drum tours out there going across the city. Friday afternoon, if you're in Greater Ballantyne, Friday afternoon, Ray Farms Harris Teeter, 3 o'clock, the Ballantyne Bowl, 6 to 7. Come on out, keep pounding the drum, be a part of it all. There's so much going on. I don't even know where to begin. But the biggest thing that happened today is literally one of the biggest things. Dave Canales told us after practice at his press conference that he is very optimistic that one Robert Hunt is going to play a little football on Saturday, and that's a big thing for the Carolina Panthers. Getting a Pro Bowl guard back on the field, never a bad thing for a football team. And Rob, you can tell from talking to him yesterday, he's excited. There's some nerves because this man hadn't played football since week 2, but Rob Hunt's ready to play football again, and there's something on the line this time.
I love watching Rob Hunt play football too. Like, I'm just excited as a consumer to watch him back out on the field. Do you remember that game? What was it? The Raiders game last year?
When he's just throwing dudes out the club.
And he was pancaking guys while running full speed. Chuba brought up a memory today. He was like, I'll remember that Germany game where there was a good run, and you look back and you see Rob just like banging on the ground because he's laying flat because he just laid a block. And he's banging on the ground in excitement. That's Rob. This is huge because you're now getting pretty much your full line back. This was your starting offensive line, other than Austin and Cade being switched.
Yeah, Austin and Cade being switched. Cade probably going to stay at center. Yeah. We'll see how they come out of it. Dave said today Austin Corbett's going to be a part of this thing. He's been kind of part of the leadership of this group all season long, whether he's been hurt, whether he's been well. Austin is one of those dudes, you know what you're going to get. I walked in here early one morning this week and walked past the offensive line room, and he was sitting in there by himself watching film. Yeah. And he wasn't just hiding and eating snacks and talking to his wife on FaceTime or anything like that. Although the Corbett children are adorable, and the more time you get to spend with them, the better. But Austin's been in here grinding, knowing that it was likely that Rob was going to come back this week. So they've got a mix. They've got some depth now. They've got the ability to do some things offensively that are just different when Rob's on the field. As you said, he is a different athlete. I mean, somebody the size he is should not be able to move the way he does. And Rob is a guy who is a difference maker in the run game. And because of that, I think the Panthers have the opportunity to kind of get back to that thing that has worked so well for them. We've talked a lot this week about the Rams game in Week 13 and what went well and what didn't, and talked about a lot of different things. But to me, the very basic core of that game was Carolina Panthers ran the ball 40 times. And you know what I am calling for anytime there's any doubt about a play call. No, this is a rundown. Yeah. And the more you can run, the better. I mean, Dave always says good things happen when you run. When you run, good things happen. And they ran it 40 times against the Los Angeles Rams in Week 13, and that is a large part of why they won that game. There is a trend line with the Carolina Panthers this year. When they run the ball a lot, whether they gain a lot of yards or not, when they run the ball a lot, they tend to do well. the splits are evident. I mean, they're averaging 32 rushes a game in the wins. They're averaging 23 rushes a game in the losses. And when you see a 9 or 10 attempt difference in what's good and what's bad, you know what they want to get back to.
You know what the first thing I'm going to say is, how many times did they really run the ball in that Rams game?
A lot. You don't count knees, but
I don't
do.
count knees down.
I think taking a knee is the I think that's a personality run, because I think when you can do that to somebody, you're flexing on them. You're like, here's how bad we want to run. We're going to run for negative yards now, and we're okay with that.
That's how bad. For all intents and purposes, they ran the ball 37 times. They threw it 20.
Yeah,
that's a nice little balance when you can get there. And they were doing it because they were able to get so much push on first and second down. I went back and watched the game again last night, rewatched it, and they were even like on fourth down, like pitching it to Rico and letting him run it outside, and it was getting there fine. The first touchdown was a wheel route to Chuba. What do we know about the wheel route?
Always open.
It's always open. So they were using them in different ways too. Just get them out in space, stretch the field. That's something that Brad Idzik talked about a week or so ago. Like, you want to stretch the field horizontally so that you can get vertical. And they did it really, really well in that Rams game. Now, the Rams are going to know that, and they're gonna try to shut that down.
This just in, Sean McVay's smart.
Right. He knows a little bit about what he's doing. And so they're going to try to shut that down. But you've seen it work, and a lot of times, you know, the guys have said this a couple of times the past couple of weeks, and Canales as well, because they were playing Tampa 2 times in 3 weeks. Now they're playing the Rams twice in 6 weeks. Is that math right?
It's close to math.
Yeah. And, you know, they were like, especially this time of year when you've put so much on tape and you're playing a team again, it's hard to really surprise them. So at that point, it's just about lining up across from the guy across from you and executing. I think you saw in that Rams game in Week 13, and that's not to say it's going to be the same exact thing. I think at one point they were averaging 8 yards a play deep into the fourth quarter on the last drive. Both teams actually were averaging 8 yards a play on the last drive of the fourth quarter. That's incredible. But by the end of that game, the Rams knew they were going to run. They were going to run it on first. They were going to probably run it on second. They might run it on third. And they were still able to do it against a pretty formidable front, which has to give you confidence if you're the Panthers that if nothing else, even if they know you're going to do it, you should be able to run against this team a little bit. Again, that's not to say it's always going to happen, because teams adjust, teams prepare. Rams staff is just so incredible. But it's got to give you a little bit of confidence that you've done it before. And now, hey, let's throw Rob Hunt back in there too, who just eats tackles for a living.
Yeah, he is a big one, and he takes up a lot of space, and he moves people around. He's also got a joy about him too that I think is going to be a big part of this game. One of the things I will remember about the 2025 Carolina Panthers until I don't remember things anymore, which is probably coming sooner rather than later, is back in OTAs, a couple guys decided, you know, they were out there in OTAs, shorts and T-shirts, and they got bowed up and wanted to play buck for a second, and Rob jumped between them and just started dancing. And you haven't lived until you've seen 350 pounds of Rob Hunt dancing between 2 equally large men. And he knows how to bring that kind of juice to a practice in June, to a playoff game. Those are the same. Rob's got an infectious enthusiasm about him that rubs off on a lot of guys. You've seen it on the sidelines the last couple of weeks where Rob's out there firing people up. He's, you know, he hadn't been able to play, but that elbow allows him to be hype man, and he's been leaning into that role the last few weeks. So I think it's just across the board going to be a positive in every way to have a Rob Hunt back. On the other side of the ball, speaking of getting guys back, this is a completely different defense, you know, than the Rams saw in Week 13. I mean, even though Nick Scott played one off Derek Brown's dome and intercepted Matt Stafford for the first time in about 2 years or something, broke a streak of 28 straight touchdowns without an interception. Nick Scott got that pick. Mike Jack got a pick 6, but they were out there without Trayvon Merrick. They were out there without J.C. Horn.
Yeah.
They were out there without Christian Roseboom, Claude Cherilus. I mean, they were running thin on defense and still were able to get just enough stops at just the right time to slow those guys down. So now all of a sudden you add in a J.C. Horn. That helps.
This has become a really opportunistic defense. And we saw, I think there was a great clip. There was a great clip on our Panthers channels earlier this week with a clip of Dave Canales in like one of his first team meetings, telling the team, like, if we're going to win the NFC South, this is how we're going to do it. What he was talking about, because you can see it on the board behind him, is winning the turnover battle. Teams that are +1 in the turnover battle win the game 78% of the time. And he was saying, this is how we're going to do it. Now, the Panthers are in a deficit in overall turnover battles in the NFL. However, the games they have won, for the most part, they have been on the positive side of them. And it's because of this defense. And Bryce protected the ball really well in that Rams game too. But this defense, a Rams reporter I saw on like Twitter this week was making a good point, because Stafford called this the best corner unit and probably the best back end they'll have faced all season, talking about the secondary. And as Nick Scott said, he's probably trying to butter us up a little. Like, there's a little gamesmanship in that for sure. But it's hard to argue with him. And one of the Rams reporters was making the point, like, there's some other teams that the Rams have played. You throw those tight balls against them, like, Puka Nacua is usually going to catch it still. And he made an incredible catch out here that was just defied physics. But for the most part, you throw those tight balls, Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, they're going to be the ones that come down with them. This defense has figured out how to take advantage of those throws and to just take care of like tips and overthrows as well. They've put themselves in position. I think they are tied for 10th in the NFL overall in takeaways. They're like 21 takeaways. Nobody's catching the Chicago Bears this season, but they're still pretty high up there, so much better than they were last season. And I think a lot of that has to do with J.C. Horn. A lot of that has to do with Trayvon Merrick. Even though he only has one interception, he pushes a lot. And, and Mike Jackson, my God. Ever since that Green Bay drop, he just became a different corner. And a lot of it is because J.C. made fun of him for it. They openly admit that.
It's funny what a little motivational dude.
Yes. So much so that when J.C. dropped a pick in a game recently, the Tampa Bay game in Week 16. No, the Seattle game. JC dropped that would-be pick on the first drive. Mike let him hear it for the next 5 minutes.
Right.
And there's a little bit of motivating there. So it's hard to argue with Stafford, but he's also an MVP candidate for a reason.
Right.
So which of those bends this weekend?
The overarching theme for me is the Carolina Panthers are no longer in that place as a football team where they look at a game like this and think everything's got to work perfect. We've got to be buttoned up in every way. They've got the opportunity to win a playoff game. Nobody thought they were going to be in this position, and that's fine. And a lot of people might not respect an 8-9 team making the playoffs, period. But that's a thing that's happened before. 4 previous times in the Super Bowl era when you've had sub-500 teams in the postseason, 2 of them won. One of those 2 was the Carolina Panthers. The other one was a Dave Canales Seahawks team. So everybody around here knows what can happen. And I think the Panthers have reached that point where it's not just luck. It's not just puncher's chance, because they do have things they can do well. Again, they ought to be able to run the ball, and getting Big Rob back is going to be a big part of that. They've played much better defense this year. Ajero Evero getting this team from 32nd in every category last year when they were running out of people to 16th in the league, 15th in scoring. It just speaks to the progress they've made on that side of the ball. And you can kind of feel a little belief beginning to grow here. The Carolina Panthers are not a finished product. They're not where they want to be for the long term, but they are so much better than where they were 2 years ago, and you see that thing continue to move in that direction. So that's why a lot of people are excited.
That's all you can really ask for at that point, too, is to find a way to grow. And, yeah, I think it's going to be really, really exciting Saturday night. I don't know how this game ends. This is a hard one to predict just because of what happened in Week 13. You're almost, if you're at this point right now and you're the Panthers, you got to go, if you're a Panthers fan, the player would never say this. Panthers fan, you might a little bit go, oh, dang. If we had lost in week 13, they might take us a little more lightly on Saturday. There's no way they're going to overlook this.
Listen, this is why you do the thing, all right?
Yeah.
This is why you play the games. You keep score because you want to put yourself in these positions. And you said the word, exciting. I can't tell you, just conversations with friends and neighbors. I mean, people you see out on the street, people you see at the store. Everybody's fired up about this game. Everybody's coming. I keep hearing, and Dave Canales addressed what he called these rumors of special guests coming to this game.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, folks, it ain't just one. There are people rolling out for this event. So it's going to be an event the kind Charlotte hadn't seen in about 10 years. I mean, we've had big events here, concerts and all kind of cool stuff. Concert for Carolina is something nobody who was in this building will ever forget. But having been in this building for that Dallas game in 96, having been here for NFC Championship in 15, and all the big games in between, you remember what it feels like in that building. And people are going to be lathered up, and you want to be here early. I mean, that's the thing.
Be here early.
My kids, my wife, everybody who knows me knows one of my number one rules in life is always go see the show. And if it's a concert you want to see, and should I pay $200 for this ticket? Do you want to see this band? Go see the show. And this is going to be a show. So show up early. Stay late. Enjoy yourself with your friends and neighbors, the fans you've been tailgating with all year, the people you see across the aisle who've become your neighbors over the course of the year. They're all going to be here too, and it's going to be quite a scene. So we have so much stuff still coming your way. We're sitting here on Thursday afternoon taping this episode of the Happy Half Hour, and I've got a list arm long on the legal pad in my bag of stuff, boxes we still got to check out. So keep it locked on Panthers.com for all the latest news and updates. There will be updates between now and then. Keep it locked on the YouTube channel for all the video because we got some cool stuff to show you between now and then. And enjoy the moment.
Yeah.
This is quiet.
That was Dave Canales' directive today. Right. Like, stay focused on the game, but also enjoy where you're at and what it took to get here and appreciate the joy of it.
All the waiting that fans have been doing since the last home game in 2015, all the OTAs that guys were sweating through in June, this is why they do it, to get to this spot right here. So it's going to be exciting. I can't wait to get here. I can't wait to see this place full again and enjoying that kind of playoff atmosphere. So it's going to be great. We'll see you guys here. Thanks to everybody watching the Happy Half Hour. Thanks to our sponsor, Deep Eddy, who's kept us on the airwaves all year long. We appreciate y'all. And come join us because it's going to be a time. Yeah. We'll see y'all next week on the Happy Half Hour when we may be talking about the divisional round of the playoffs.
Wow.